What up, reader fam? Today I am bringing you an unboxing video. This video is being sponsored by Penguin Random House, and they sent me a massive box of books. And I'm not kidding when I say it's a massive box of books. Oh god, it's so heavy. Look at this big old boy full of books. They sent me this big box of books to share with you guys some of the titles that they have. It might give you an idea as to what to spend those gift cards you got for Christmas on. I'm not gonna lie, I did peek at the packing list. I know that there are already some books in here that I own that are my favorite books of all time, so I'm excited to dive into this box and share with you the books that they sent me. I'm gonna put this down though because it's so freaking heavy. Imagine if I just held it during the whole video, I would probably break an arm off. The first book in the box is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I read this book last year and I loved it. It became an instant favorite after I finished it. It's a historical fiction book that follows this girl during the World War II Germany, and she ends up becoming a book thief. I'm not gonna tell you why she becomes a book thief because you gotta read the book in order to figure that out, but trust me when I say that this book is definitely worth the read. I can't promise that you'll leave this book not having your emotions torn apart, but hey, sometimes you just need a book that breaks you. No, but really, this book will move you and inspire you. It's just all around great. The next book in the box is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, another one of my all-time favorite books. You're supposed to go into this book not knowing anything about it, so I'm just gonna give you some keywords as to some things you might see throughout this story. Private island, friendship, family. And I was gonna say another word, but then I realized it spoiled the whole book, so swerve! But this book is honestly worth the read for the writing alone. That's something that stuck out the most to me with this book. It's full of so many shocking prose that will catch you off guard, but will also throw you into a whirlwind of emotions. This book is also just a lot of fun. While I say fun to describe the experience of reading the book, it's not necessarily the most fun story. It's kind of more on the darker side of things, but it's fun because it's got this mystery element to the story, so you spend a majority of the story just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Next up, we have Tell Me Three Things, and this is one that I actually have not read yet, and I believe that a lot of you guys have been recommending this one to me. So this book is about a girl named Jessie, and no, we don't spell our names the same way. We can't all spell it J-E-S-S-E. Some of us gotta be special and throw a little I in there. But this follows Jessie's journey moving from Chicago to Los Angeles, where she attends this new prep school, and one day she gets this message from an anonymous person, and they end up forming this really tight bond together. And it sounds like our main character Jessie struggles with knowing if she should go and meet this person, or if she should just have this person remain anonymous. The one thing that I'm wondering about is how do these heart waffles come into play? Looks like somebody got hungry for these two. I'm not gonna lie, this cover's kind of making me hungry, so let's move on to the next book. The next two go together, and that's because they're the first two in a trilogy, and it's a trilogy that I have been loving. And that is the first two books in the Illuminae Files trilogy. First up, we've got Illuminae, and then we've got Gemina, both by J. Kristoff and Aime Kaufman. If you've been following my channel the past few months, then you know how I feel about this trilogy. I adore this trilogy. It's so freaking good. Like, this is a next level trilogy. It is on another level completely. There's nothing out there in the YA world like this trilogy right now. So this is a sci-fi story that's told through emails, IMs, journal entries, files, and so on and so forth. It's completely full of incredibly detailed graphics, so it's already formatted in a really unique way, but then the story comes into play and it's just so unique and refreshing. The story alone is just top notch. Then you throw in these awesome graphics and then it just gets even better. I've also heard that the audiobooks for this trilogy are incredible, so definitely check out those if you're an audiobook person. I'm gonna try to tell you guys a little bit about what Illuminae is about. I'm not gonna talk about Gemina because hello, spoilers. I feel like I'm never gonna be able to accurately describe this book, but I'm gonna give it a go anyways. This book follows Katie and Ezra, who are a couple, and then they break up, and basically from there everything goes bananas. Not Poland bananas, but crazy bananas. The day they break up, their planet is invaded, and our story takes off from there. The next book in here is The Fever Code by James Dashner, and I believe this is an expansion on the Maze Runner trilogy. Now, I personally am not a huge fan of the Maze Runner trilogy, and I have no plans to continue on with that series, so I don't think that I will be planning to read this one, but I still wanted to showcase it within this video in case it might interest one of you guys, because I know that there are a lot of Maze Runner fans out there. So this is a prequel series, and what I believe it does is it gives you insight on Wicked, and if you know anything about Wicked from the Maze Runner trilogy, it's such a mysterious organization, so I believe if you read this, you kind of get a background on what Wicked is all about. The next book in here is The Serpent King by Jeff Zentner, and I'm super excited that this was in this box because I actually really wanted to get to this book last year and I never got around to picking it up. This story follows three seniors who are about to graduate, and I believe it takes place in kind of a small town, and we kind of just go deep into the characters' past, and we take a look into their future and how the different things in their upbringing will affect their future. It sounds like it's going to be a very heartfelt contemporary, and if you guys know me at all, then you know that I love me a good heartfelt contemporary story. They always just punch me in the feels. The next two books in this box are ones that I read last year and I just completely fell in love with, and that is Everything Everything and The Sun Is Also a Star, both by Nicola Yoon. If you are a contemporary lover, you gotta read these books because they are so good. They both bring something really unique to the table when it comes to contemporary stories. Everything Everything follows this girl by the name of Madeline who has this disease that prevents her from going outside, but then one day a boy moves in next door and he kind of challenges that. All of a sudden she wants to go outside because she wants to be with that boy. I know it sounds a little bit cliche, but trust me when I say it is not cliche at all. No way, Jose. It's incredibly unique and shocking at times, and it's also got a lot of cool artwork and graphics that were done by Nicola Yoon's husband. I definitely recommend this one. Also, it's becoming a movie, like for sure coming a movie. They filmed it. It's coming out in 2017, so you're gonna want to read this book before the movie comes out. Then we've got The Sun Is Also a Star, which follows this girl by the name of Natasha, whose family is being deported back to Jamaica. And then we've got this character named Daniel, who is just trying to live up to his parents' crazy expectations that they've set for him. The day that Natasha's family is being deported back to Jamaica is the day that her path crosses with Daniel's. And we follow this story of the connection that takes place between these two characters. There's so much that goes into this book, so many messages and themes that are just sprinkled throughout it. You'll leave this book just constantly thinking about everything that she covers throughout it. It's definitely a very thought-provoking book, but I loved it and I highly recommend it. Next in here is Girl in Pieces, and I've actually been contemplating picking this book up recently, so I don't gotta pick it up now because I got it. This is what I believe to be a rather dark contemporary story, and we follow this girl who's dealing with a lot of loss in her life. She's lost a lot of really important people in her life, so she's kind of going through the grieving process. And I do believe that there is a focus on self-harm with this book, so be aware of that trigger warning before picking this book up. But I'm looking forward to reading this one, and I really hope that it has a powerful punch to it. Next up is Calamity by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the third and final book in the Reckoners trilogy. I have not yet read this trilogy, but I know that I'm going to because Brandon Sanderson, that's reason enough for me. So 10 years before the first book in this trilogy starts, an event called Calamity takes place. And it's basically this explosion that gave people superhuman abilities. That alone sounds epic. Brandon Sanderson is a mastermind when it comes to world building, so I'm really excited to get into this trilogy and to learn more about the world. Next up, I've got I Darken by Kiersten White. I've had a love-hate relationship with Kiersten White's books, but I read I Darken and I really enjoyed it. This is a historical fiction retelling of Vlad the Impaler, where Vlad the Impaler is actually a girl in this book. It's a stunning book full of really interesting characters. In fact, I'd say that it's a very character-driven story, and I really appreciated that about it because you get to really know the characters really well, especially with this book because you see them as kids and you follow their journey growing up into young adults. The next book is one that I read last year and also really enjoyed, and that is A Shadow Breton Burning by Jessica Cluess. I'm just gonna read this little description on the back because I think it does a great job of kind of giving you an understanding as to what this book is about. It reads, I am Henrietta Howell, the first female sorcerer in ages, the first girl who can control flames, the one who will defeat the ancients, the prophesized one, or am I? This book takes place in Victorian London, and if you read the Infernal Devices trilogy, I'm pretty sure that you'll end up enjoying this book. Jessica Cluess takes a lot of tropes and then flips them on their head, so it's kind of like you think you know what's gonna happen, but you really don't because she tricks you. The next book I have here is The Darkest Corners by Kara Thomas. I actually picked up this book last year, and I still haven't gotten the chance to read it yet, but I definitely want to. It's like a mysterious thriller type story. The description doesn't give too much detail, and I think the description is mysterious for a reason because it doesn't want to give you too much about the story so that you kind of just go in and kind of have to figure out everything for yourself. But this story follows two girls, Callie and Tessa, and an event takes place leaving Callie's cousin dead. And so the two girls are trying to get to the bottom of the mystery behind her cousin's death. And it sounds like the girls get themselves into a little bit of trouble because they end up facing the killer. So it sounds super creepy and mysterious, and I am here for it. It's gonna give me the creeper jeepers. I keep just wanting to line this up with my face. The last two books are by the same author, so I'm just gonna show them to you at the same time, and that is All the Bright Places and Holding Up the Universe, both by Jennifer Niven. I believe that All the Bright Places is about two people who find each other and they're both going through a lot of difficult times, and so I believe they kind of confide in each other and help each other just keep going in life. And I believe that Holding Up the Universe is a contemporary story about a girl who is dealing with body image issues. I've heard a lot of interesting things about both of these books, so if they sound interesting to you, then definitely check them out. So that is the end of this crazy big unboxing. Holy crap, that's a lot of books. I just want to say that this video is more so to show you guys some of the titles that Penguin Random House has. I can't guarantee that I will be reading and reviewing all the books mentioned in today's video, but they asked me to share with you guys some of their titles, and I was like, heck yes, I'm all about sharing that book love, so that's what I'm doing today. You guys should let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I post videos frequently on this channel, so if you want to be notified for when I post new videos, be sure and go click subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye, chew.